Is my mouth? Is it? Is it your mouth? No. Is it my mouth? Yes. Not yours.
Usually, when a celebrity announces that they're pregnant, fans flood their social media with words of support and congratulations. But in the case of Halle Bailey and DDG, it was the total opposite. People told her to run away. But Halle continued her relationship with DDG even when there were some serious red flags waving. Now, according to E! News, Halle and DDG have broken up and they'll have to work together to co-parent their child, Halo. If Halle had looked at her relationship a little closer, she might have seen some of the serious warnings that her fans were seeing. But what were those warnings? Well, the warnings were blaring as early as their first date, even though the setting was spectacular. DDG and Halle had chosen to go to an Usher concert in 2022 for their first date. Despite the incredible performance, however, the two had some problems with the conversation. DDG said that Halle carried the conversation the whole time. Basically, he couldn't talk to her. Now, this might have been because he was a little starstruck. He might have even been nervous about talking to her and just froze up. And this is likely the case. He just couldn't relate to her. The conversation topics that she was bringing up were about things that he couldn't really contribute to. Since he couldn't think of anything else to say to her, she was the only one really trying to make a connection. From the start, it looked as though they were incompatible. They just didn't have enough in common to really bond over. Despite that, however, there must have been enough attraction there because they continued seeing each other. That made a lot of fans ask why. Why did DDG pursue a relationship with Halle if they clearly didn't have a lot in common? A lot of fans believe that DDG saw an opportunity. Halle was an up-and-coming actress, and she had already made a name for herself in the music industry with her sister, Chloe Bailey. DDG, on the other hand, was a YouTube rapper. His following wasn't nearly as big as hers, so by being with her, it could help him gain more followers. Some fans wondered if DDG didn't even mean to be with Halle as long as he was. He wasn't really looking for a long-term relationship, but Halle wasn't willing to break up. Either way, things were not looking great from their very first date. Then DDG started posting some pretty alarming things. He wrote on Twitter that all he needed was a baby. DDG and Halle had only been together for a few months, so fans saw that as a huge red flag. They thought that he was moving a little too fast. If he was trying to get her pregnant, then it would also ensure that he always had her around to keep up his clout. It basically looked like a sign that he was trying to baby trap her. Now, DDG said that he was just kidding, but it still caused quite a bit of alarm amongst fans. In February 2023, however, it seemed like their relationship was on the rocks. DDG had removed all pictures of Halle from his Instagram page, and they both stopped following each other. He also later wrote a status on Twitter saying that all these girls are the same. He really should have been pointing the finger at himself, though, because what came next really should have made Halle leave him for good. DDG's ex, Ruby Rose, posted screenshots the same day he made that status, showing that DDG had been contacting her and trying to get together with her. In the screenshots, he asked if she was still in Los Angeles. She said that she was, and then he asked what she was doing. She didn't play coy, though, and said that his texting her on the same day that he and Halle were having some drama was so him. That's a red flag in itself right there, but the fact that DDG was looking to get together with his ex shortly after breaking up with Halle is a huge problem, because that's if the two were even broken up. But neither DDG nor Halle said that they had broken up in February. They just deleted some photos and unfollowed each other on social media. That's just a typical part of a fight for a lot of celebrity couples. So there's a good chance that DDG was actually looking to cheat on Halle with Ruby. When Ruby called him out on it, DDG said that she was right and that he needed to go heal first. Now, just because he struck out with Ruby doesn't mean that he stopped looking for someone to be intimate with, though. When the screenshots were out there, DDG initially admitted that they were real. He said that he knew that the screenshots looked bad, but Ruby was mean for sharing them. Then, when the media started to share the screenshots, DDG decided to change his story. He said that the screenshots were actually computer-generated. They weren't real. He added that Ruby was obsessed with him and still trying to get together with him, so she was pulling this sort of stunt to make him look bad. Never mind the fact that he was the one who came to her, desperate and looking for some fun. Fans hoped that this scandal might be enough to make Halle drop him, but she refused to believe the truth. Instead, she asked people not to feed into the lies, especially when they came from a third party. So it looked like DDG had managed to convince Halle that the texts were fake and that he was loyal to her. Now, why would DDG work so hard to win Halle back if he wasn't really in love with her? It all has to do with clout. As a YouTuber, DDG was pulling in huge numbers whenever he made a post with Halle. So it made sense for his businesses to keep stringing her along. A lot of fans were worried about her when The Little Mermaid premiered. It was a huge milestone in her career, and they didn't want D to pull a stunt or make the whole thing about him. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. Shortly after The Little Mermaid came out, he released a song called Famous. In the song, DDG raps about how he doesn't want to see his girl kissing another man or holding his hand because he's insecure. What did Halle do in The Little Mermaid? She kissed Jonah Hauer-King in the movie since he played Prince Eric, and she was the star Ariel. During the red carpet premiere of the movie, they were also holding hands and smiling for the cameras. Fans absolutely loved seeing Halle and Jonah holding hands and thought that they looked cute together. Clearly, DDG had some really big problems with that and wrote an entire song about it. Fans thought that the fact that he was so insecure was not a good sign for someone trying to be an actress. She'd likely have a lot more kisses in her career, and if her partner couldn't get over the fact that it was part of the job, then their relationship would just be doomed. Fans were also angry that DDG tried to steal Halle's big moment. It should have been about her huge opportunity to take on a big role and break barriers in the process as a Black woman. But instead, DDG made it all about him and his insecurities. There was also another huge incompatibility in their life. Halle was getting really stressed by social media and decided that she was going to become more private. She stopped posting as much on social media for her mental health. DDG, on the other hand, continued to record parts of their relationship. He didn't really respect her desire to become more private. He chose his YouTube business over her mental health. Then there was the baby. Halle got pregnant with his baby, although DDG said that it wasn't a planned pregnancy, according to the RRG YouTube channel. After Halle gave birth, DDG immediately started making content about his son. All his content became about his son, in fact, making some fans think that he was exploiting his child for clout and money. DDG even once complained that some videos of his son weren't generating as much money as he had expected. The couple finally decided to part ways in early October 2024, and while DDG has put out an official statement, Halle hasn't done the same. So did DDG finally get enough clout from Halle and decide to move on? Or did Halle finally see that DDG wasn't really interested in her? Was she the one who ended their relationship? And do you think they'll get back together? Or is it truly over once and for all? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.